It's your girl, the Sweet Physique, and I am back for another car ride talk. So this topic that I want to discuss with you guys today, in particular, is another one that's kind of a hot topic. It's very prevalent. I'm pretty sure if you're not in this situation, everybody at least knows somebody that is in this situation. It's a very sensitive subject at the same time for some people. But I want to kind of touch on the topic of co-parenting and the number one piece of advice that I would give in that situation. So with that being said, co-parenting is very challenging at times at its best. I don't think that anybody, unless maybe, there was an agreement with having a child, certain, conversations were already had, and this is just what two separate people agreed to do. I don't think that in most situations, people go into it just saying we're going to be co-parents or picture that for their life. I think a lot of situations end up being where two people can't figure it out romantically. Maybe there's a divorce that happens. Two people were interested in each other, but it just didn't go as far as they thought. Or sometimes there are oopsie doopsies that happen. Whatever the situation is, a lot of people, especially those that I have talked to, had conversations with, ended up being in a co-parenting situation, but that was not the goal off rip. And with that being said, it's hard sometimes to find that balance in co-parenting with the other party. And there are so many reasons why that balance can be hard to achieve. Sometimes the balance is hard to achieve because maybe there are feelings that are still there that haven't been addressed. And it doesn't even have to be on a tip of you're romantically trying to get back with this other person. Sometimes it's just a matter of I cared for this person at one time. I thought that I was building a life with this person. I pictured my life looking like this 5 years from now with this child, and now all of a sudden that's been stripped from you. That sometimes is very hard to accept. That sometimes it's hard to deal with. And that sometimes it's kind of hard to comprehend. Sometimes maybe it is the fact that you actively want to still be romantic with this person, but maybe it's not reciprocated, or maybe you guys both want that, but you know that you're not compatible enough to healthily make that happen. Sometimes it can be that the person is not for you, but you still have wounds when it comes to this person that are healing. Maybe they did something completely off the wall towards you that was just wrong. And sometimes either you haven't taken the necessary steps to start healing, or your healing journey you're not where you need to be in your healing journey, where it's not a major factor for you to see this person. Sometimes maybe like right now, seeing this person is still a trigger for you. And that's hard too, because if both parties are active in this child's life, neither one is going anywhere, so you're going to have to try to find a way to work through those triggers, because you have to deal with this person. You have to be around them. You have to speak to them, talk to them. Some sort of interaction has to go down, especially while the child is small. Sometimes co-parenting is hard because you guys just have different beliefs and values on how to raise a child, what you want to instill in this child. sometimes co-parenting can be complicated by other parties. Like maybe the relationship between one of the parents of the child and a grandparent is so strong that the other parent feels like, am I raising the child with you or your mama? And that's not to say that a grandparent or an aunt or whomever having an impact on one of the parents' lives is a bad thing. But sometimes if the other party feels like their impact is clouding judgment or taking over you still being you as a parent, sometimes it's kind of hard to work around that, because now they feel like their opinion is not weighed as heavily because it's you and your parent versus me. So that can sometimes be a difficult factor to work around at times. Sometimes it's hard to co-parent because one of the parents may feel a certain type of way about the cards that you guys as a unit have been dealt. Maybe you work a job that's very demanding and you don't have as much time physically to put into parenting, and so a lot of that extra activity that needs to be done, like the footwork, falls on the other parent, and they may not think that that's fair, considering it took two to make a child. Maybe one of the parents doesn't even live in the same city as you, so that makes it very difficult to co-parent because it almost isn't a thing sometimes, because they're not physically there to help you on the day-to-day basis. And then sometimes also money could play a factor. Maybe one parent has a way better job as far as income is concerned compared to another parent that has a steady job, but the pay isn't as great, and maybe they're struggling to make ends meet, which affects how they're able to support their child. And then now one parent feels like they're doing way more financially than the other parent, which can cause a rift or an issue in that relationship. I can go on and on for days about different topics and different reasons why co-parenting can be challenging. But the number one piece of advice, which I'm not saying is easy to do by no means, and believe me, I understand it's not easy. It does take work. But in everything that you do as a parent on both ends, no matter what your situation is within yourself, what your situation is in society, what your situation is with other parent, the number one thing that I really offer up as a piece of advice for you to do is every move you make, do it with the intent of the best interest of the child, and do it with the intent of putting your child first. Because when you move that way, you can really almost inevitably never go wrong, because the intent is genuine, because it's for the child. It's not because this makes your job commute easier or better, or it's not because this makes your schedule better. It's really what's best for the child. And sometimes we have to make those sacrifices. We have to go the extra mile, because that's what our child needs us to do to make things better and simpler for them. And especially when they're really, really little. It's important, period, even as a high schooler, but it's really important when they're not self-sufficient and you can't give them that structure and independence to kind of take tasks upon themselves. I know for a fact that putting the child first comes with a lot of sacrifice, it comes with a lot of discipline, and it comes with a lot of organization. I brought this up in one of my other videos, but you just have to stay organized. And for me, what I do on my phone that I put everything on. Like sometimes my calendar actually does look a little stressful. So I'm like, dang, I got so much to do. But I can see what I have to do. I'm not trying to remember it. I'm not trying to juggle a whole bunch of things in my head that's not put down somewhere. I'm not trying to figure out, okay, when is the best time to do this based off of what's in my head. I can see it. I can play around with different times for stuff. So my calendar has all my stuff on there, has all the baby girl stuff on there, has just other things that either I was invited to or we're going to as a unit, or that maybe it's for baby girl that I'm taking her to, so that I can best balance things out. And then I can see when I have dead space in my calendar. And when I say dead space, I mean things that time in a specific day that is not already filled. So that way I already know what I need to get done. Or I may even have a list of things that are like a things that need to eventually get done that just needs to get put into my calendar and take a date. So that way when I see these gaps, okay, I can try to get this done here. So let me just plug that in my calendar. So now this is a goal for me to get done on this day. And now that I see that this is a goal for me to get done on this day, I can call, make appointments, I can do X, Y, and Z, so that now I'm moving ahead of the game instead of getting to the day and now I'm like, oh, I see from 1 to 3 I have some free time. What should I do in that time? I already know what I'm going to do from 1 to 3 if my day goes according to how I planned it, because I've already thought about this and I already have goals for myself that are pre-planned. Now, life happens. Your day may not go how you planned it to go, and that is okay. But it is rewarding and it does feel good to have a game plan to end, to at least be able to check some things off of your list for the day. When you have a child, and definitely multiple kids, a calendar is just an essential. No matter how you orchestrate it, whether that's a physical calendar that you're literally writing on, whether that's something in your phone, whether maybe that's a calendar on the fridge that the whole household could look at, whatever that is, find what works for you. Because when you're organized, I definitely say that helps you co-parent even better, because your communication is better, because you can be more transparent, you can be more upfront, you can be more proactive with the other party, and it helps you guys come to a better understanding of what the child needs and how we can put them first. When you guys are scrambling, like last minute, what are we gonna do? Oh, how's this gonna work? It definitely makes things harder, and sometimes that's putting pressure on both of you guys to make a rash decision and hoping that you agree on something, when maybe you could have had the conversation a couple months ago because you knew that this was coming up. And it gives you time to think on it, sleep on it, evaluate how you both feel about certain things, and then move forward. But no matter what you guys do, how you guys try to find the best way to get there, the number one key takeaway is just whatever you do, try to do it in the best interest of the child. Because at the end of the day, that child didn't ask to be here. That child may not know what's going on depending on their age. And they're looking at you as the parents to protect them, to provide for them, to make them happy, and to take care of them. You know, all of that. And as a newer parent, as a single mom, and as a mom that works full time and does her best to try to have her own life as well for my sanity, and to check off my goals in life, I just have found it so much easier to be organized and to just stay on top of things. That way I can communicate my needs with other people. in advance, and I'm not putting them on the spot all the time, and I'm just able to kind of move and groove on a schedule. But yes, like I said, no matter what works for you in your household or what you guys come to an agreement about, just always please try. Now, I know it's hard, but please try in everything that you do to put the child first, because they deserve it. They are the number one priority, and they deserve the best from you guys. And with that being said, even though it's hard sometimes to balance things, still take care of you. Because I always say this, you cannot pour into other people's cups if your cup is depleted. So even if you have to take 10-15 minutes out of your day just to breathe, relax, sit down, do it. Because you cannot put your child first efficiently if you are burnt out. So definitely take care of yourself and then put your child first. Those are just two important things. Love y'all. Thanks for listening. Talk to y'all soon.